Well, hello. Welcome back to our podcast slash newsletter slash we're in the Student Union Live. Like the magic of streaming is so crazy. And I know so many of you guys watch this recording. You're not on live. And I am so appreciative that you even give us the time to share with you what our students learned today. And we have a new program that I know a lot of you have heard about. It's called our Student Teacher Program, where some of the students that came in through either a door of, a problem that they really wanted to solve, or through the door of just wanting to optimize their life, have decided that they want to take these concepts and impact other people's lives. So we know that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so I'm giving anybody who raises their hand and says, I want to share this information, I want to influence other people's lives, I'm giving them the opportunity, I'm giving them the platform to really take their learning to a deeper level and to turn around and teach these concepts. So today, our student teacher is Noelle Paramoure, and I wanted her to be on here and just share what it was that she taught to our students today. And then Rhonda, we've got the 3-for-1 going on today. Rhonda is going to share her perspective from the students' perspective of like, how did that impact her? Like what were her thoughts on what it was that Noelle delivered? So I will hand it over to you, Noelle. What was it that you taught to our students today? And kind of give us a little bit of insight into why did you decide to step up and be a student teacher?
So my decision came from a place of back at the retreat, deciding that what I really wanted to work on was relationships. And so when I had all the tools from Self-Made You, but then when we got the idea of what the curriculum was going to be looking like for the student teacher, it dived really deep into that could be very useful for me in my goal of improving relationships. So today was really about the primitive and the prodigy brain and training ourselves and how we can get ourselves to make a decision and to change our perspective and follow the trail of our prodigy brain and recognize that if we do that, the things we can learn along the way, and that there are always gifts and opportunities at the end, and how great it will be to discover them as we go, whether they're immediate or not. There's always an opportunity for a gift and an opportunity. And that to me is like really good news.
Yeah. Yeah. So many of us look at circumstances in our life, whether it's bad news that you may have just found out, or that bad news might be 3 numbers on a scale. It could be a diagnosis, it could be something at work, right? So whatever it is, it's a circumstance. And it's human nature to operate from our primitive brain, which offers us a lot of fear-based thoughts, which has us feeling and behaving from a place of fear, some iteration of that. And typically when we're operating from that place, we don't like the results we're getting. But the message that we have for everyone is that you have a choice. You do not have to be going down that path that leads to operating from your primitive brain. There is the other part of your brain called your prodigy brain that you can intentionally tap into and operate from. It's such good news, and most people don't understand that. So that was a part of the lesson that you delivered today. Rhonda, what were your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, Noelle, you did a great job, and you must have done a good job because I actually coached today on the Zoom call, and I don't do that very often. So what I liked right in the beginning, you talked about how you were going to explain about leveraging the prodigy brain. We had talked about before, like how the primitive brain kind of pops in right away. And that was one of the questions I had was, it seems like any kind of circumstance or event that happens, the first thing that happens is my primitive brain. And how can I, catch that right away and revert to the prodigy brain? And then when you went into the 3 gifts, the knowledge, power, and inspiration, and what we can take from that, it got me really thinking about, God, I've just really been struggling with, fill in the blank. And for me, it was fear of heights and traveling into the mountains. And so when we were, the way you had set it up really got all of us thinking, ooh, we start out right away with that primitive, but we have the choice to activate our prodigy brain. And that in itself was really a gift. And then the other keywords you said was self-fulfilling prophecy. And then that's where I was like, okay, I'm going into it, the fear of going up the mountain, that I'm scared to death. And so what happens? I'm scared to death. And so then it creates an experience that's horrible for me and for my husband. And so that's what we coached on today. And so it was really kind of came full circle for me. Thank you for that.
Good. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And I think the word even that I took out of it was the word intentional. And I think that we forget to go in sometimes intentionally. We want to go in with the expectation that it will just happen. And so from even I took away, and I wrote it several times in my note, I'm like, I need to be intentional. Like keep that in the forefront of my mind to help me make that decision to go towards the prodigy brain.
Yeah. It's a fine line between being intentional and feeling like you have control versus being unintentional and feeling like you're the victim or you're deprived, right? There's a line right there, you guys. So when we say you have a choice, you have a choice. You're either going to be intentional about managing your mind or you're going to operate on default. And you'll know when you're operating on default because the feelings of deprivation, the feelings of being victimized, the feelings of restriction show up. Any sort of iteration of fear, like what Rhonda was experiencing, shows up. That's how you know that you're operating from your primitive brain. And the good news is it doesn't have to be that way. There's the other part of your brain that we can teach you how to tap into and operate from so you experience feelings like control, acceptance, curiosity. Like they are abundant, but you've got to be intentional, and it starts with that choice.
I agree. I so agree.
Yeah, good work. Thank you so much, ladies. I so appreciate you being here. And we will be back next week with another student teacher who will share with you what our students learned at Self Made You.